It is the 2nd of September 2020, and I'm going to see whether I can't keep the van steady enough to drive and get a recording. It is drizzling. September is our hurricane season and, sort of tropical storm season here in southeastern Pennsylvania, or what people call central Pennsylvania. And I'm getting a glorious shot of these shield bugs, dead shield bugs. Let's see if I can get, well, that's just gonna have to be how it is. And the road that we're on runs parallel to the Conestoga River, which is now on our left-hand side. And this is, I believe this is State Route 3030, which at this point in the route is known as Conestoga Boulevard, although I don't know that I don't think there's anywhere a street sign that says Conestoga Boulevard. Maybe there is. It's a kind of continuation of Long Lane between Safe Harbor and Rock Hill. At Rock Hill, it is known as Long Lane. Well, I guess that's not going to work. Okay. So we are now on Boy Scout Road, which we just passed on the right the entrance to the Promised Land Camp. The Promised Land Camp used to be Camp Chickatan, Chiquetan, Chickatan, which it's my understanding that was a Boy Scout camp, and this road that we're on is called Boy Scout Road. And there's a creek that runs through Camp Chickatan, which I was recently informed that the name of that creek is Pickle Creek, but I don't know who calls it Pickle Creek. There is a local family, Pickle, spelled E-L rather than L-E, Pickle. And it may be that it's after that family. They seem to be more numerous in the northern part of the county, where there are quite a few of them, actually. And I'm not really sure how this road is marked. This may be part of Stone. Yeah, they're calling this Stone Hill Road here. And this fenced area in front of us is part of Tudbinks. Tudbinks is a portmanteau name. I'm not sure what the Tud comes from, but the Bink is from Binkley, which is a not. I mean, there are a number of Binkleys here in Lancaster County, but Tud Bink's greenhouses is a fairly big operation these days. I guess they started about 25 years ago, and they're the closest big greenhouse to us. I guess we're about a mile and a half from home at this point, and we're coming up into the outskirts of Conestoga Center. So we live in Conestoga Township broadly, although we have a Millersville PO. These are Conestoga POs, or Conestoga, they have Conestoga zip codes. And, you know, we're in Metro Conestoga, but not yet in the city center, so to speak. Nice example of a Switzer bank barn here, which you can't really see, which is too bad, but oh well. Have to figure out a way to get a kind of a wider view without having to have some kind of a 360 device, although maybe that's the way to go. Anyway, we have now risen to, I think this is the highest point of land along this route. Oh, no, I guess it gets a little bit higher. But this is basically the watershed between the Conestoga and the Peckway. And we are now approaching the road meeting here that a number of roads come up and come together here. This is the, so to speak, the north end of the town of Conestoga, or what I call Conestoga Center. The Conestoga Wagon Wheel Restaurant, which is also a what do you call that? There's a filling station there. So these roads coming together kind of define the it's not there's more to the town going to our left, or now to our rear, but this is what most people consider to be the town of Conestoga. There is an elementary school behind us and down the hill. We are going towards the fire company and the what was at one time a police station. I guess the police check in there now, but it's not really an active police station, police operation. The police for Conestoga Township are shared with the neighboring township, Peckway Township, or were. And I think now, I'm not sure, it keeps switching back and forth, but I think right now we're just covered by the state. We just passed what up until maybe 15 years ago was a United Church of Christ, and now is a non-denominational church. We're passing on the left, although I don't think you see it, the Conestoga Post Office. And now we're basically out of the town, although the town continues for about 2 blocks to what was our right as we made this turn. This road here is called River Corner Road, and this goes between the town of Conestoga and there's not really a town, but Shanks Ferry, where there formerly was a ferry across the Susquehanna River, and there's a Shanks Ferry, little, not town, not even like a hamlet, but just a place that's marked on the map, Shanks Ferry on the Lancaster side and also on the York side. And I don't know if you go back and review, you might see on a post on the left-hand side there were some blazes which have been recently repainted by the Conestoga Trail Association, which is sort of relatively newly reactivated. It was very, very quiet organization for a long time, and I think they've kind of they're getting back into gear. Their last, so to speak, heyday was the 70s. It was an organization founded in the 1920s, and which is fairly early, I think, for such things. And the goal was to have a trail system that went from the southern part of Lancaster County up to the then relatively newly developed trails which surrounded the Appalachian Trail. So the Horseshoe Trail and the Appalachian Trail. The Horseshoe Trail goes through the very northern part of Lancaster County. So the Conestoga Trail was really designed to link up with that. And on the other side of the river, across the Normanwood Bridge, you can go from the Conestoga Trail sort of southern terminus across to the Mason-Dixon Trail, which starts in Maryland and goes north, I guess, to roughly the point where the Susquehanna branches at what is now Sunbury and Shamokin Dam, and which in early historical times was the native community of Shamokin. And again, we're on River Corner Road. To our left is the valley of the Pickle Creek, which starts in Chester County and empties into the Susquehanna in, I guess, Mardick Township of Lancaster County, which I think that we're actually still in Conestoga Township, but somewhere along here we go over into Mardick Township. I'm not sure. Maybe that the creek is the boundary between them. Actually, I said wrong, because when we got to the sign that said Shanks Ferry, we transferred from River Corner Road onto River Road. But it's one of the features of this backcountry that all the roads kind of squirm around, and I think that it would be very disorienting to a person who was not pretty well naturalized to the roads. I had a terrible accident years ago here. Well, it wasn't terrible, but it was very frightening. In the winter time, coming around this one. There was a school bus parked at the corner that we just passed, and I really wish that I had gone to the school bus driver and tried to get the witness of the school bus driver was putting chains on the school bus. But a woman had parked her brand spanking new Audi sedan in the road, and came around the corner on the ice and came sort of up over the hill, and there was basically no way for me to avoid colliding with her vehicle, which then went into a ditch on one side, and my car did a 180 turn and ended up facing uphill in a ditch on the other side. And that's what happens in the wintertime in Lancaster County. So this is Colemanville Church Road, which has two sections. They've been split by circumstances of time, but we're approaching what was the Pennsylvania Railroad and is now a rails to trails, and there's a trailhead up here. This is one of those places where, you know, back in the day, and probably still today, kids would come to party, and for whatever reason, I never discovered it. I don't think I've ever been up here. When the railroad was active, it wouldn't really have been a good spot, because the railroad, like sort of railroad police or whatever, would come by.